Hello, today I'm going to introduce Audiology and I'm going to let you see how we can hear music, like we will rock you. We will rock you. How can we hear those sounds? First, let's take a look at how our ear looks like. We have ear canal that has an open end here at the entrance, and we have eardrum. Eardrum, and we have cochlea. So in short, we have three parts in our ear: outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. Outer ear is from ear canal all the way to the eardrum. Middle ear from eardrum to cochlea. I will introduce cochlea later. That's our hearing organ. The inner ear includes cochlea and also other parts we will see later. So outer ear consists of a pinna or external ear, and also the ear all the way up to the eardrum. Eardrum, scientifically we call it the tympanic membrane. So the most important thing about the pinna is our pinna can localize the source of the sound. For example, we have a very interesting experiment. We ask a person to close eyes, then we take his keys to shake, first in front of him, then behind him. He has a hard time telling if the sound comes from the front or from behind. But he's very accurate about the height of the sound source. So that's because our pinna works very well to detect which direction the sound comes from, but it's not so good to tell it's from front or back. That's why our brain can integrate information from our ear with information from our eyes to make a judgment without our own even conscious. So let's take a closer look. We can see that we have three parts, as we mentioned: outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. So we have ear canal here, and we have ear canal covering from entrance here all the way toward the eardrum. And we have three small bones between the eardrum and our inner ear. So that's our structures for the three parts of our ear. Middle ear. Middle ear is filled with air. Its cavity is about 1.3 centimeter or 1/2 inch. It basically holds three tiny bones. The three tiny bones called malleus, incus, and stapes. Interestingly, stapes is our smallest bone of our whole body. It's even smaller than the tiny tip of your pinky. And the middle ear conducts sound from eardrum, and all the way from eardrum to the inner ear. There's a small window here the last bone sticking into the window of the inner ear. The last bone is called the staples. We just mentioned it. That is the smallest one in our body. If we get an even closer look, we can tell that different parts of the anatomy of our ear, and we can see that from the entrance to the eardrum, and we can see that structures in the inner ear. So in the inner ear, we have two parts. One is called semicircular canals. Three of them: x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. I'm not kidding. So some people, they have a hard time having fun with roller coaster and any rotating toys. Basically, some people cannot ride on them because once a person is riding some rotating object, the fluid inside the semicircular canals will rotate with the body. But once the body stops, the fluid continues to rotate, so that can cause feeling dizzy or nausea. So some people, they feel vertigo. That actually caused by some infection inside here. Okay, that's part one of inner ear. And then part two, we can see some snail here that's actually called cochlea. The cochlea connects the inner ear's bones with our hearing nerves. We call it auditory nerves. The cochlea is 2.5 turns, like a real snail. So we just mentioned the inner ear has two portions: the cochlea, which is the hearing portion, and the other portion is the balance portion, so-called semicircular canals. Three of them filled with fluid. So the cochlea is pretty much shaped like a snail. So it's also filled with fluid. Okay, now we can tell how a sound can propagate from external ear all the way to inner ear, then finally propagating through the auditory nerve all the way to our central system in our brain to tell, oh, we hear sound, we hear music, a piece of music, like we will rock you, rock you. Okay, we can tell, oh, that's we will rock you. That song is a familiar one for me, my favorite, right? So we can tell from our memory, so our brain can link the incoming sound with our memory and do further processing. At the very beginning is how we can hear the sound. Okay, so we can tell that here that we have outer ear, we have middle ear, and we have inner ear. And we can tell that they all have conversions. The outer ear converts the sound from air pressure to the vibration of eardrum, from air to solid vibration, air to solid. Then the three bones will convert the vibration of the eardrum to the inner ear. And remember, the inner ear is filled with fluid, so the connection between middle ear and inner ear finishes the conversion from solid to, yes, fluid. So eventually the whole three parts convert the incoming sound from air to fluid to the wave of fluid. What happened? What happens afterwards? Our smart hearing organ eventually converts the wave of the fluid to pulses on our nerves. We call it cochlear nerve. The nerves will wake up our brain and tell us, wow, it's an enjoyment. I like the sound. It's music. It's relaxation. Or it's a sound of a snake. It's danger. I need to run away. Or from somebody nagging you don't like too much. So with that, we can make a lot of smart decisions. Okay, to recall, our inner ear has two portions. Portion 1, cochlea, for hearing. Portion 2, semicircular canals, for balancing. Both are very critical for us. Remember, I just mentioned, if we have issues with semicircular canals, like infections, like even blood vessel issues, we may feel unexplained vertigo in the morning or in the afternoon. So when we reach the point of cochlea, remember that we have small bones called stapes. That's like a piston inserting into the fluid, and when the sound comes, the stapes moving back and forth, sticking into the fluid back and forth, that causes a wave of the fluid inside the inner ear. Then that actually causes the pulses generated on the nerves. So further looking at the cochlea, we can tell that the cochlea is linked by very tiny hair-like structures. We call the hair cells. When the sound comes to the eardrum through middle ear, and through middle ear's 3 tiny bones, eventually the vibration of the last bone, stapes, move inside and outside of the inner ear like a piston of a car. Then that causes, which I mentioned, a wave of fluid to move across the inner ear, and the wave stimulates the hair cells. Then the hair cell structure can generate electric pulses to activate the hearing nerve. Eventually, the hearing nerves will notify our brain here to tell us there's a sound. Please understand it. We got a sound. So it's like your ear is telling your brain, hey, there's a sound, you have a job to do, explain it. Brain say, hey, okay, gotcha. I'll try to check memory and figure out what it is, what's the meaning of the sound. So the inner ear, the middle ear, and the outer ear, they together acquire the sound. Then the brain explains the meaning of the sound. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you like my channel, and if you like it, you can subscribe it. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.